life so far has been somewhat of a roller coaster ride. My name is Alyssa Spencer. I'm 28 years old, which practically means I'm 30 years old. I am a full-time student and I'm a business owner, which means I'm pretty busy most of the time. In my spare time, I really enjoy traveling. One of my favorite places to travel is to New York City. I enjoy Broadway, so that is the place to go when you want to see Broadway musicals. A few years back, I had one of the biggest surprises in New York City that I could have ever imagined. So, New York is known for Broadway musicals, pizza, skyscrapers, Central Park, and all of the busyness. My favorite part about New York is the musicals. So about 5 years ago, at Christmas time, my boyfriend at the time, Dan, he decided to give me plane tickets to go to New York City. The following January, we flew out. We got there, and on our first day, I was surprised with tickets to go see Hamilton. Now, you don't have to really know Broadway to know that Hamilton was a big deal, so I was really excited. Hamilton was great, it was a beautiful evening, but the next day, something a little strange happened. So our plan the next day was to go to Central Park and take a stroll at about 11 o'clock. So we get to about 10:30 and we decide that we're gonna leave our hotel and walk to Central Park. So we get out of the hotel and onto the streets and we find this huge women's march. There are thousands of women in this street and there was no way to cross the street to get into the park. So we started walking. We walked and walked and walked as far as we could with no end in sight. We couldn't find a place through the line or around it. And eventually we decided to take a little break. We stopped at a little bar and decided to get a drink. So as I'm sitting at the bar having my drink, I notice that Dan keeps getting up and taking these suspicious phone calls. I wasn't really sure what that was about, so I kind of ignored it. And then a few minutes later, he comes back and asks if I'm ready to walk again. So I finish my drink and we hit the streets. We walk for a little while and we come up on Lincoln Center. So he asked, would you like to stop in front of Lincoln Center? I said yes. So we stopped and found a cappella singers singing on the street. They were singing Bruno Mars' Marry Me. I look over at Dan and he hits the ground and pulls out this huge ring and says, will you marry me? I was so surprised. I started crying and I said yes, and the crowds around us cheered. It was a beautiful moment. This story does have a happy ending. It's not the ending you think. A few months after that, we decided that we weren't ready to get married. We took a break, we broke up, and now years later, I'm as happy as I've ever been. But I will never, ever forget the time that I spent in New York. Thank you.